Mario, please buy the team back. Please.
It's Crosby. Crosby on credits and shots. Penguins win it! Sees part for Crosby to the goal. He scores!
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me?
And on Fade, the shot, he scores! Here's Crosby with a burst of speed up the middle. Gets up and scores!
They're a collective.
Andy Kyoto is beating Minamaki's brains in. What a show!
The Pittsburgh Penguins are for sale. Well, kind of. We're going to talk about it today. Josh, what's going on? It's all over the internet. Are the Pittsburgh Penguins for sale? Is it a part of it? What's going on?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Several months ago, the FSG, Fenway Sports Group, put out that they were open to selling a minority share of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So since then, that's kind of been out there, but it's been surfacing that now there are a couple candidates that want to buy the team in full. So that is where all these reports, all these articles, all this information is coming from. Obviously, just to throw out the names of the two candidates that are interested, the first is obviously Mario with his team of Ron Burkle and company. They have expressed interest in buying the team back. And then a new, I guess we'll call him a dark horse, that came out is a Chicago-based business family, David Hoffman.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so David Hoffman and the Hoffman family business, who currently own the ECHL hockey team Florida Everblades. Great name.
Great name.
But he is now interested in buying the Pittsburgh Penguins entirely. So both of those entity groups want to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins in full. So that's where that is coming from. However, Fenway Sports Group has come out and made a statement based off of, was it Per Taylor Haas that put that statement out?
Dan Kingerski.
My apologies.
But Fenway Sports Group continues to evaluate potential equity partners to support the long-term growth of the Pittsburgh Penguins. While the process remains active, there is nothing to confirm or discuss at this time. That's the official quote from FSG.
That right there tells me that they are still only interested in a minority share, a sale of a minority share. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, because at the end of the day, money talks. And 100%. The estimated value for the Pittsburgh Penguins at this point is $1.75 billion. Okay, that's with a B.
Holy cow, dude!
A lot of money. And for perspective,
for a team that's tanking.
For perspective, Mario and company sold the team back in 21 for
that sounds about right, Josh.
For $900 million. So
right under that billion mark.
Yeah, quite a bit more that they're going to have to come in for in order to get the deal done. So we'll see. I don't know if anything's actually going to happen right now.
Sure.
We still got time. We still have time. There's probably no rush for Fenway to make a move, but we'll see.
Yeah, and per our sources, Josh. Now, we broke this back, last season? Oh, no.
No. Draft.
Kind of. Was it the draft? Oh, yes, it was.
The draft.
We heard an inside report from someone who golfed with one of the agents for a player, a very well-known, high-priority player in the Penguins organization. And he basically said, Mario's trying to buy this team back, and he's trying everything. He is getting his old group back together with Ron Burkle, but maybe they're trying to work to bring in some other people to kind of help buy this team back. Now, like Josh said, is it right now? There's no rush for FSG to sell the team, but there is someone that could help buy the team back, and his name is Sidney Crosby. Okay, his name is Sidney Crosby, and Sidney Crosby is being not vetted, but Sidney Crosby is being talked to about joining this team to buy back the Pittsburgh Penguins. So me and Josh looked into it. You cannot be a current team player and be any kind of owner. So that's a minority, majority. You cannot be an owner whatsoever with the team that you are playing or at all.
Yeah.
So that means
preface it by saying without approval by the other owners and the league. So
the league is the big part. The league has official say. Now, this didn't really come into effect until someone else in Pittsburgh did this. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was Mario Lemieux when he bought the Pittsburgh Penguins back when he was still playing. And basically said, the only other time.
Exception. That's the only exception they made.
And it was literally because they didn't want the Penguins to leave Pittsburgh. So that was literally the only reason why. And they said, okay, this works. There's a lot of publicity about it, which would help save the Penguins. That is not going to happen with the Pittsburgh Penguins now. They are not leaving Pittsburgh. So they're trying to get this group together, and they're trying to get Sidney Crosby to join. This is from a very reliable source. So that makes us believe that they are waiting until Sidney Crosby retires from the NHL to make a public bid for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This will consist of at least Mario Lemieux, Ron Burkle, and Sidney Crosby. Tell me that doesn't just make your Penguins mind explode about, hey, the Penguins are losing. We are tanking this season. That's like not confirmed, but that's basically what's happening. We're tanking this season. We're not going to be good at all. Yet here we are talking behind closed doors. The Pittsburgh Penguins Pittsburgh Penguins. Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby buying back the Pittsburgh Penguins. How cool is that? Now, there's another little bit of a spicy rumor on top of this, Josh. Not only is Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby coming back, but all these conversations took place when Jaromir Jagr came back to Pittsburgh to accept an award for the Emmy. Thank you. For the Emmy. When he came back in Pittsburgh, that was when the so-called meeting happened with Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby and Ron Burkle to get him to come on board to talk about buying the team back. Now, it is rumored that was Jaromir Jagr a part of this conversation as well? And could it be that the three greatest Penguins of all time are coming together to form a Megatron, to form a, what's the thing in Power Rangers?
Don't know, but I know the reference.
Josh, yeah? Someone please tell us in the comments. They're forming a Mega Penguin to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins back. How cool would that be? Now, this could not happen unless Sidney Crosby retired. So I honestly believe, and I know I just went on a rant there, but I honestly believe that the Pittsburgh Penguins will be bought by Mario Lemieux, Ron Burkle, at least in the next 5 years. I think that's going to happen, especially if the fans aren't happy, which we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there just because the Penguins are not doing so well. Maybe it's time for a new change. I think after Crosby is gone, maybe they pull that trigger. Sidney Crosby becomes the savior again for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that statue gets built right down on Fifth Ave for Sidney Crosby. I could see it happening. I could see it. Josh, your thoughts on our news break, rumor, whatever you want to call it?
It's tough to read, because when we first were informed of that information, it was like, okay, like, we'll see when Crosby retires. Maybe that'll be when they put in the official bid, even though the rumor was out there that Mario wanted to buy it back. Now, the conversation that we had, obviously not involving the source, but
correct.
Maybe the plan is for Mario and Ron Burkle and possibly Yager right now to put in their bid. And then when the time comes down the road, once Crosby retires and, decides that he wants in on this, he then can buy in his portion at a later date. Now, the timeline, I think, has changed because of not Dustin Hoffman. He's an actor. David Hoffman.
Gotcha.
David Hoffman from Chicago. So if David Hoffman is now interested, you're no longer bidding against yourself. You now have another person here that you have to bid against. So that's why the number right now is 1.75. If Fenway Sports Group doesn't make a play on that 1.75 right now, that number could go up. And that's probably what Fenway wants. So I'm not saying that this is a done deal. I'm not saying that this is going to be dragged out. But I wouldn't hold your breath, essentially. Okay? Wouldn't hold your breath that a sale is going to be coming imminently. I think we're going to keep getting little pieces of information from both sides as the season progresses. And then eventually, news will just come out, whether it is a full sale or a minority sale, what have you, when the decision has been made by Fenway Sports Group.
That's not a bad point. But the question I want to bring up to you, Josh, and also the viewers watching, is Fenway doing anything wrong that would bring up a reason to change ownership? Are they doing anything that is something that requires change? We see that in regimes all the time. It changes, it ebbs and flows. The Pirates fans are crying from the rooftops to sell the team. Are the Penguins fans there yet, Josh?
I would have to say no, just because it's still very fresh of, the changing of ownership.
Yeah.
You can argue that they've made the team better. I shouldn't say team, organization better. Through improvements that they've made to the arena, to practice facilities, to the whole nine. You can go down the list of what they have done since taking ownership. But I think at the end of the day, the results on the ice still matter to the fans. Just talking fans' perspective at this point. So they're going to get upset if we keep losing. Now, obviously, we just fired Mike Sullivan at the end of this past year. Well, I shouldn't say fired. Parted ways.
It was a firing. Yeah,
it was a firing. Okay, so however you want to spin it, Mike Sullivan has moved on. So that's essentially the first move that you make. You get rid of the head coach. Next move is usually upper management. General manager, president of hockey operations, which is both the same guy here in Pittsburgh. And then from there, if those moves aren't made, then it goes to ownership. And I think that's where the Pirates fans are, is that they've already gone through the motions of the coaches and the office and the front office and all of that
players
multiple times.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Players. Oh, yeah. So I think at this point, they're now just frustrated with ownership. And I think that's why, as fans, I don't think we're technically there yet with Fenway Sports Group, because we've only gone through, I guess, one general manager since
the sale.
Because it was Ron Hextall when Fenway Sports Group came in. And then they fired him, Now it's Kyle Dubas. And now it's one head coach. They have fired Mike Sullivan and now brought in Dan Muse. So we only have one turn at this, like one go through. So I wouldn't say that the fans are eager for the sale, but at the same time, when you start referencing a Pittsburgh legend, not only a Pittsburgh Penguins legend, but a Pittsburgh legend,
100%,
that is interested in buying the team, you are, for that sale. That's not something that you oppose of. Now, I have seen on Twitter, there have been a lot of, people who put out the track record of the team and front office and all of that when Mario was owner, and a lot of what went wrong and all of that. And that's fine. Okay? But at the end of the day, you can't argue the fact that there were cups won under Mario's regime. So I don't know. I'm not saying that, once he takes ownership again, it's just a guarantee. Not saying that at all. Because, if Fenway doesn't sell in the next couple of years and we win a cup during that time frame, then you got the same argument against Fenway Sports Group. So long-winded answer.
No, it was a good answer.
So I needless to say, I would say the fans are not eager for the sale, but having Mario as a candidate has piqued their interest.
I would kind of agree with that. I think they're all on a short leash, and this is very early take. Very early take. Like you said, it goes in coach, management, ownership. Right now we're at the coach. The Penguins have not made the playoffs for 3 years. That is not good for Yinzers, okay? Yinzers are very clearly winners. We want to be winners. We want to be in the conversation of winners. Look at the Steelers. They need to make sure that they're getting in the playoffs every year. If they don't, coach is gone. They're just waiting for the Steelers to not make the playoffs, and I guarantee you Tomlin is gone, okay? I'm not a Steelers fan, but from what I hear, that's exactly what it is. You can't get mad at Tomlin because he's a great coach, but they're barely making the playoffs every single year. They make the playoffs and get kicked out first round. Whatever the case may be, whatever argument you want to make. As soon as they stop making the playoffs, you guarantee Mike Tomlin's gone. Okay? Why? Because Yinzers are winners. They want to be winners. Look at Pirates. They are devastated. I know a bunch of Pirates fans. They want to win. They have arguably one of the greatest pitchers in MLB right now. And yet, they can't make the playoffs. That's not good. And the reason why is because they are making terrible decisions, and that comes from the owner, especially in baseball. Baseball, it's priority, the owner that's giving out money to bring in people to come in. Nutting doesn't want to bring in the big names to Pittsburgh to help them win. Therefore, fans are crying out. They want something to change. Right now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are going towards what the Pirates are at. We haven't made the playoffs in 3 seasons. I know. We're waiting until that McKenna draft pick. But let me ask you something. What if we don't get McKenna? What if we miss the playoffs after McKenna? Let me ask you if we don't make the playoffs for 6 years. Are you okay with that still? Are you waiting for the next generational talent? What are we doing? And I think after the McKenna debacle, you're going to see fans freak out for the Penguins. You're going to see fans call for Kyle Dubas to be let go because he's not. If we don't get McKenna and we still lose and nothing has been doing. Listen, there's a lot of ifs in this hypothetical. If Kyle Dubas doesn't get
People
McKenna,
are going to start coming for your head.
Oh, I know. Kyle Dubas, which I'm not a big fan of Kyle Dubas anyway, and you go back to our old videos and find that. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until he does stuff. But look at this offseason. He hasn't done anything. Anyway, so So he is going to wait until we get to McKenna. Okay, we don't get McKenna. Now, is he rebuilding? Is he doing anything to get us better, to get back to the Penguins that we once were? And if he's not doing that, I guarantee you fans will start to question his leadership. Because he's basically in charge of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's the general manager and the head of player. It's the president of hockey operations. So he is in charge basically of the Pittsburgh Penguins. If he is not getting this team back to a playoff team in the next 5 years, you're going to start to see a lot of fans question his leadership. And after that, FSG is right there. And they're going to say, you guys hired him. You guys told Sidney Crosby that we would get him back in the playoffs, that we would be a competitive team. That was what the main guy from FSG said to Sidney Crosby. He said it publicly multiple times. I told Sid that we would get competitive. We haven't gotten competitive in the last 2 seasons.
But do you think it's going to be that quickly after calling for Dubas's firing that they will then jump to FSG that quickly? Because like you said, it would only have been essentially 2 cycles. One coach, 2 GMs.
Yeah, with the Penguins fans, yes. I wouldn't be surprised the day after we don't get McKenna. I guarantee you, people are going to start calling for Kyle Dubas.
I get that. I get that he may be quick, but I'm saying
immediately after
Dubas is gone, they're going to start.
I think it's going to be in the same breath. Because if we're by that time, we'd be 4 years without a playoff, and Crosby would be on his last year of his contract, and the whole goal was to get McKenna to be literal hand passing of the torch from Crosby to McKenna, which I get, I understand, and a lot of fans are rooting for that. We are not rooting for that, but I understand a lot of fans are rooting for that. So as soon as that doesn't happen, I think it'll be in the same breath. It'll be like, everyone's got to go. Let's reset. If we're gonna be a rebuild, get rid of Kyle Dubas, get rid of FSG. Clearly, the plan that Kyle Dubas has set forth now isn't working. So, time to readjust. I don't think it'll be that extreme.
Can I put you on the spot of a...
Josh, you can absolutely put me on the spot.
Okay, so this is a question that is on track with what you were saying, but a little bit off. So I apologize. Probably lengthened the episode a little bit, but I understand your thought process in terms of if we don't get McKenna. But apparently, from reports, this draft is still going to be very top heavy. So let's just say we don't get a top 3 pick, okay? So let's say we get top 3 but not McKenna. Would you feel the same way?
Is he a generational talent that will help the team?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the
if that's
draft, but it does seem like
I'm not being
seem like it's
facetious. I'm saying McKenna is like, that's franchise changing. And I have been seeing is that everyone is saying tank for McKenna because it's going to revitalize the franchise. Why else would we want McKenna? Okay? So, and that is kind of where we're all heading, because I have made arguments. If the goal is not to get McKenna, right? It's just to rebuild. Then what are we doing now? Like, that's my point. I get a rebuild takes time and it's a process. I get that. But it's 3 years in. It's 3 years in, 2 years in for Kyle Dubas. We haven't made the playoffs. It's time to get back to where we were. We're not re-signing Malkin, so that contract's gone. That liability, I guess, is gone. And then we have Crosby. We're still dealing with major contracts that aren't beneficial to us. So what's the goal of keeping that if it's not for a guy like McKenna. If we're just getting a guy who's going to go to Wilkes-Barre for a year or two, then what are we doing? Because I guarantee you, if we try to get better this year, we're probably going to end up at the same spot anyway. You know, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's going to take over. Well, we got McKenna, Stanley Cup bound. We're going to be in the same spot for the next couple years. So if it's not McKenna, then what are we doing this for? I would say start rebuilding now. Start getting, like, we have a bunch of contracts and a bunch of, I mean,
I don't want to get.
Some would argue.
I don't want to get into this.
No. I know.
Here,
I know.
But
I know. But
I was
what
just
I'm saying
curious
is
because like the way I'm seeing it is that it's McKenna, and then don't ask me their names, but it's like
no. What I'm
two or
saying,
three.
it's
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just making the point that it seems to be it's McKenna, and then like a small group of guys after that who can still be superstar potential, and then like, you know, obviously the rest of the first round. So I was just curious to see if you felt like Dubas's hot seat would be hot even if he landed one of those other guys. And to me, it seems like yes, it's McKenna or nothing.
What I wanted to say, it's McKenna or bust.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. And I think that's fair to say after what we've seen. Especially, I'm going to do a little prophecy, Josh. We're going to be in the same spot we were. Like, I don't think with the roster that I see that supposedly we're going into this next year, I think we're going to be in the same exact spot, if not worse. So get ready for a under top 10 or top 10. I don't know however you want to frame it. Draft pick.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be there. Now, do I think we're going to win the number one draft pick? No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Life would be crazy if we did. But I think it's McKenna or bust. I didn't mean to go into a long rant, but all I'm trying to say is that I feel like that's a big mile marker for Penguins fans to see where the franchise is. And if the franchise is being run by an organization like Fenway that messes up this bad to be putting us in a spot where, you know, we have our hands in our pockets after McKenna, I feel like they're time to go. Like, it's their time to go as well. We might as well let Mario buy it back. We might as well. Now, you made a great argument when we first talked about this whole ordeal, which was, I was thinking they need to buy it because we're getting bad, because of what Dubas has put us in, this situation you're saying, and I said it's bad, so they need to buy it. And your response was, no, they want to buy it because it's going to get good, and they want to buy it before the Penguins get back on track. Expound on that a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's partly because of me believing in Dubas, and I think it's also because they see the vision. So not only does Fenway Sports Group see the vision, which is why they only want to sell a minority share, but Mario and now this David Hoffman see the potential of it panning out. So with that, that's why they're trying to get in now. It's essentially like what you try to do with any type of stock market, any type of, you know, investment. You know, think of real estate, for example. You want to buy low in expectation of growth, so that way when you sell later, you make a very large return. Now, because of that, Fenway Sports Group bought low in 2021, and now due to, you know, TV rights, the expansion of the league with, well, I guess not an expansion, but, you know, growth with Utah, talks of another expansion team, you know, the team's values have grown, and that's why the value is, you know, rumored to be somewhere around $1.75 billion. So Fenway Sports Group will be making their money back if they do decide to sell fully. So in turn, that's what Mario and Hoffman are looking at. Okay, if we are going to invest this money here, this is Pittsburgh. Okay, we're going to make money whether we are terrible or not. And they are banking on the growth of the NHL for them to make their money back and then some. So that's why they're trying to get in now, essentially at the bottom, so that when Pittsburgh gets back to being the perennial playoff team that they are used to being, they'll be able to make their money back, even possibly even before they sell.
Now it's time to tell us what you guys think. Put your comments down below. Are the Penguins in need of rescuing? Does Mario Lemieux and company need to come in to help the Penguins? Or are they just kind of coming in at the right time before it goes up? Like Josh said, when you're buying a house or stocks, you want to make sure you get it on the ground floor so before it takes off. Is that what's going on? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, stay tuned for this upcoming season where Josh and I are going to go live after every single Penguins game on our social media pages. Make sure you give us a follow at Pens Collective. We'll see you guys in the next episode. And Josh, as always,
Let's go Pens.
It's Crosby. Crosby on Trinity shot. Penguins win it!
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me? We're a collective.